Hi guys, this is Stephen from the Guardian Group of Alabama. Some things that was on the news this morning concerning the terror suspects, and that's what they were. They were terrorists that perpetrated the Boston attacks. Uh, News came out this morning, or the first that I had heard of it this morning, that the explosive that was used uh, actually came from fireworks. That there was some kind of mortar. You can buy these big long tubes, and what the fireworks industry calls mortars. And the powder was actually taken from fireworks. And earlier, of course, a liberal jumps up and all of a sudden wants to ban reloading powder, which is used in ammunition for rifles, shotguns, pistols, and I just thought it odd, as soon as I heard one of the senators bring that up, uh, because the agenda is to, regulate anything to do with firearms. But now it comes out that the powder that they use come from fireworks. All that's already federally regulated, and according to Wikipedia, uh, it says here that the U.S. government now uses the United Nations explosives shipping classification system, and this comes from the ATF. So they've got a big long list of stuff here of what it's got, the size and all this kind of stuff, different classifications, uh, and of course different. I guess you could say different uh, permits. Like if you were going to put on a big fireworks display or stuff like that, but already federally regulated. Um, but my point is that they tried to push it, and I know that the terrorists used firearms, and reports. I'll get on that in just a minute. But it's like all these liberals were just eager to jump on something to do with firearms. Like I said, trying to ban reloading powder, which now we found out was not the case. So it's like they were still on this agenda, and they are. They're still on an agenda, and the firearms that were used, according to reports now, according to the Boston police, uh, they said, they didn't have any permits for them. And Boston, the way that I understand it, you've got to have a license to even have the gun. You got to go through a system. I don't know all the details. I don't live in Massachusetts, but by the way I understand it, it's a formal process that you've got to go through to even have the weapon. And they're reporting now that they didn't have any of these permits. So with all the firearms agenda, trying to ban different types of weapons and things, what does this tell us? It's what I've said all along. Criminals do not care about laws. Laws are words written on a piece of paper. They don't stop anything from happening. They simply give prosecutors a tool to use that once something has happened, they can prosecute them by. Um, so, like I said, all this is already regulated. They didn't meet the firearms whatever, I guess a registration up in Massachusetts. They didn't have permits to have the weapons. So what did all of those things stop? Nothing. There's still 3 Americans dead, uh, dozens and dozens more injured, many lost limbs that this event will change the rest of their lives. So, thinking of that, what would more gun laws do? Gun laws and restrictions only affect law abiding citizens, people that follow the law. Again, and I've said this 100,000 times, criminals don't care about laws. So, basically, you've got to look at it as an agenda. Taking guns out of the hands of law-abiding citizens. Not going after criminals. The way I understand it, there's over 22,000 gun laws not right now across the nation, state laws and everything else combined together. So, would one more law stop anything? No. There's already laws against murder. There's already laws against, numerous things, and a criminal don't care about those. So why would they care about one more law? And you have to. I talked about it in another video. It has to do with the intent of the person. You cannot legislate evil out of society. You can't legislate evil out of a single person. So, take this information, however you choose. But the bottom line is, more regulations and more and bans and more laws only hurt law-abiding citizens. So, is that? I'm sure. Most of the people in Washington, pretty smart folks, I guess, and they can understand this, that they're hurting law-abiding citizens. So then you have to start, you have to start looking at it different and say, well, if they know that it only hurts law-abiding citizens, it must be an agenda. Now, I'm not one of these conspiracy theorist. I've said it numerous times before. I'm not one of these Alex Jones nutcases that believes, that because a bluebird landed on the light line out there that aliens are going to come next week or something. But we have to start looking at it as what it is. There is an agenda. And it's to do away with the Second Amendment. So, listen, we have to do everything legally possible. We have to make a grassroots effort to call our senators, call our representatives, and tell them how we feel. They represent us. So, and that's what we've been doing here. There's some bills going on now in Alabama. So, use every legal means possible. Talk to your representative. Talk to your senators. Write a letter to the governor. But let them know that these restrictions only hurt law-abiding citizens. Let your voice be heard. This is the only chance we have at solving these kind of issues. So, don't just sit back and wait for whatever to happen and say, oh, we'll fix it then. It needs to be fixed now. It needs to be stopped now on every level, local, state, and federal. We've got to bring some common sense to the table and stop punishing law-abiding citizens for the acts of criminals. And I've made this statement before, and nobody's taken me up on this when I've asked them. If they believe so much that a law-abiding citizen should have to suffer for what a criminal has done, then please, the next time a murderer, a rapist, whatever, is convicted, go down and volunteer to serve their time for them so they can go on living. but you served there 20 years. I've not had one single person say they'll do that yet, because they'll say, well, I didn't commit the crime. Why should I have to pay for it? Exactly. Why should law abiding citizens that had nothing to do with it, and this includes all the shootings and all this other stuff, why should law abiding citizens pay the price for the actions of someone else? There's laws on the books that if they would enforce them, uh, could stop some of this. When you've got criminals that come into a courtroom and they should get 20 years and they plea bargain and all this kind of stuff, and they get 3 years, and two of that is a probation, get a little smack. Don't do that no more. What does that do? But yet you hold a law-abiding citizen to a higher standard of I don't know if this is a word, criminality. I think I'm making up stuff here, but you would hold them up here on a level of where they're more criminal than actual criminals. So let's get in this fight together, y'all. We have got to start calling our senators, our representatives, put pressure on them, fax them, call them, write them letters, send them emails, but let them know that we're tired of our rights being trampled. So, like I said, everything legally possible, phone calls and stuff like that. Uh, let's get in this and let our voice be heard. We are still in a constitutional republic. We have representatives that speak for we the people. So let's get out there and do that. Let's let our voice be heard. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll have more later. Y'all have a great day.